Hi, I'm Andrew Smith, Associate Director of Virginia Farm Bureau's Government Relations Department.
And I'm Stephanie Talent, Assistant Director for Farm Bureau Government Relations. Welcome to week 7 of our weekly updates. And this week, Andrew, is all about the budget. The House and Senate budget conferees released their revised budget yesterday. That was Thursday, and the full General Assembly will vote on it this coming up Saturday. And we were very fortunate to have a favorable outcome for agriculture and forestry within the budget. A lot of our top priorities were funded. Speaking of top priorities, one that has constantly been a top priority has been funding for Ag BMP cost share program. Can you tell us how that's looking?
Yeah, Stephanie, any of our members that have talked to us before session and during session knows that funding for agricultural best management practices and the technical assistance needed to put those practices in place was a critical issue for us this year. It's important to partner with their folks in the industry to get those practices on the ground. But what's needed is funding, and very happy to say there was an additional $30 million in the budget to bring that total for BMP and technical assistance to $65 million, which is going to go a long ways to try to achieve those goals that are out there for our industry. So very happy to see that in the budget, and hope the final budget approved this weekend still includes that. So very happy both the House and Senate saw their way to put the money in there. Now, I know you've been tracking funding for some programs in the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. Can you tell me more about that?
Absolutely. We are fortunate to see additional funding for many worthwhile programs at VDAX. The first I'll mention was also a critical issue for us prior to session, and that was additional funding for farmland preservation. So there was an additional $750,000 included for matching grants for localities for the Purchase of Development Rights Program, or the PDR program, to bring the total to $1 million. And that is definitely a very important program, particularly in the northern part of the state. So we were excited to see additional funding for that. Second I'll mention is related to a piece of legislation that we've talked about consistently throughout this General Assembly and last General Assembly as well, and that's to establish the Dairy Producer Margin Coverage Premium Assistance Program to help out our dairy farmers. And establishing the program is one thing, but to get the funding to actually operate it is really the critical piece of that. So we were very excited to see $1 million included in the budget for that fund. An additional $2 million was also included for the Virginia Food Access Fund, which was established last year, bringing that total to $3.1 million. And then additional $75,000 for the Beehive Grant Program to bring that to a total of $200,000. So again, many important programs that are being done at VDAX received additional funding this year. We were very excited about that. In addition, sometimes they use the budget to include some priorities and direction, and there was language included in the budget to create a work group to look at the nutrient credit trading program and its impact on the loss of farmland. So I know that's an issue several of our members are concerned about as well, so that language was included in this budget. Another critical area for us, Andrew, prior to session and throughout many years now has been funding for cooperative extension. And I know we received some additional funding. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. An area that's very important, as you mentioned, to the industry, and really to help do research and also get information out from our land grant universities, work producers around the state, is agricultural extension and the agricultural research experiment station, what we call AREX. And very happy to report there was some money to help with some problem areas for both cooperative extension and the AREX. $1 million was appropriated, or in the report to be appropriated, to incrementally improve some problem areas around the state. Things like improving internet in our county offices, and also $900,000 for additional extension agent positions, some very important positions. We've had areas that have been in need of positions to work with producers in the community to disseminate information and improve production, in some of our farms. So they play a vital role in their industry, and very happy that they will be seeing some additional dollars to address some of their needs, like positions in the internet. We also see $1.55 million to improve some information technology needs at both the county offices and the AREX. And then finally, we see $2.45 million, I believe it is, for some additional needed equipment in the AREX, those agricultural research and experiment stations. So very happy to see some of these areas addressed. They play a vital role in our industry, and we hope the final budget voted on this weekend, those remain to be included. Now, Stephanie, I want us, before we go, to give our members an update on the final actions on the minimum wage bill that Ben had been working on all session.
Yes, I appreciate our members sticking with us through this one. It's been an issue since the beginning of session. This bill started out in the House and was heard in the Senate Commerce and Labor Committee on Monday. We are fortunate, as a reminder, what this bill would have done would have removed the farm worker exemption related to minimum wage, which of course would have had a pretty serious impact on farmers all across the state. And we are fortunate that we were able to get that message across to legislators on the committee. Ben Rowe did testify, did an excellent job testifying on behalf of the industry on Monday to share those stories of how this would impact farmers. And it failed to report from the committee on a 5-10 vote. So we're glad to see that one done for this year and appreciate everyone responding to the many action alerts throughout this session. It's hard to believe that session is pretty much wrapping up now, and next week will be our last video update. We hope everyone will tune in next week. As our tradition has been, we'll have our smiley face wrap up, and we hope everyone will join us for that.
Thanks, Stephanie.